Okay, experiment number 2. So Chris here has injected a ball. He's put the cover back on it. We got a hole in the end of both ends of the cover piece on this one, and we're hoping that there'll be enough airflow to allow for the combustion. So, now, like all these later ones with this mixture, it takes a little longer to fire off. There comes the smoke. You can hear the fire, and we're waiting to see if the actual ABS case itself is going to catch on flame. Which looks like it is. So far anyways, what it's done right now, it looks like is started the, I don't know if the ABS itself is burning or not, or just the cap on the end. Looks like the ABS is actually burning. Okay. Now it's going to get kind of boring, and I'm just going to leave the camera on this so we get the time that burns.
Well, so far so good, our experiments.
So you want to try this. 10 of them first, or 20 of them.
Yeah,
prove it, but
right.
I'm going to let that burn down. It seems like for now my work is done today.
yeah. You never see how long it burns. All of a sudden you got something that's going to burn, instead of burn 4 minutes, it's going to burn 12 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's still burning.
Yeah.
Well, if this takes off as a product,
My question is going to be, why did nobody ever fucking think of it before? It's funny, eh? I mean, I've been doing all kinds of research on the internet and everything, and you'll find references to people carrying potassium permanganate and either glycol or glycerin, which apparently does the same thing. I've never fucked with glycerin before. I didn't know that. Whatever glycerin.
That's sugar.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
That's sugar.
Yeah, they keep talking about glycerin.
Yeah.
And people, especially in Europe, carry it in their survival kits for starting fires. But they've got it, a vial or a bottle of stuff,
Yeah.
and they're showing how they light fires with it. So they pour out a little bit, like on some wood and stuff, and then they, with droppers usually, they put a little bit of that in,
Yeah.
and it kind of flames up and lasts for, 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So they got 10 seconds to get whatever tinder they got. And they always have a little tinder, or some guys have paste and different things.
It's a higher skill.
Well, yeah, but with the ball, you've got your tinder already.
Yeah.
You know.
And with that,
you're
it's almost like
you're over the top.
grade 1 tinder, like your
Yeah.
first step, right?
Right. I would say, if you had small sticks and stuff, you'd be able to get them going with that.
Well,
you had that in a pile.
That's going to give you every opportunity to
that-
get going with that.
Yeah.
You're allowed, you're in the desert, you're getting nothing burned.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing about it too, if you had to, I suppose if you had to, it was in the dark and you couldn't see much, you could light that and then gather up a bit of wood.
Yeah.
And then Too good, like then either put it on that or proceed with a ball.
Right.
It'll give you a little bit of like
Yeah.
you're stuck.
Yeah.
But like, is
And really, if you that thing's going to have 8 balls in it, so if you wanted to, you could start by burning your case.
Yeah.
Take 1 ball out and keep the rest of
yeah.
in your pocket or whatever the fuck.
Or at that point,
They're
you're
not
not
gonna-
saving them for.
These new balls, they're not going to, you know. You got my idea how I'm going to put a nipple on it. You
Yeah.
clip that nipple
Yeah,
on
exactly,
to,
yeah.
to get a hole.
Yeah.
That's a key
Perfect.
thing too, right?
Yeah. Oh, ease, or you can even tear it off if you're stuck, right?
Yeah, somehow you get that, you'd rub it off with a rock or something to get that opening, right?
But what about the glycerin? Would
I-
glycerin help you in transporting?
I don't know.
Or is it
I don't know.
potassium magnet? What's the difficulty in transportation?
Well, nothing. I mean, you got, first of all, in Canada.
Yeah.
First of all, Health Canada is the regulating body, right?
Okay.
And you look up potassium permanganate on Health Canada, and they give you all the rules, right? And it's what's called a Class A precursor. It has to be labeled as that. And the only restrictions that Health Canada puts is anyone purchasing more than 50 kilograms of it have to get a license. What they call an end user permit.
Yeah.
And I knew that because I had to get one.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
When I imported my first, 4 25 kilogram pails up.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So that there's that. And then when you get into consumer restrictions, you're looking at the Transportation of Dangerous Goods regulations.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Which they have labeling requirements, packaging requirements, air or ground shipping requirements. There's a
Yeah,
whole
so
bunch of
how
laws,
is-
but we're in, as far as I can see, we're in total compliance with those.
Okay.
Especially if we
Even-
do not pack the 2 chemicals together. That's
Yeah.
another thing they got is these separation requirements.
How far separate?
I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
Poke, trying to poke holes.
I think separate. Yeah, right. I think separated is separated. You know, if you've got a bunch of these, balls that are themselves sealed, and they're inside a case that is sealed, and then you've got glycol, which is also in a thing that is sealed,
Yeah.
and inside a case that's sealed. So you've got like 4 seals between them, especially when they're not in the same container. And that would still hold effect if you sold a little pouch thing that had 2 pockets. I don't even know if you need to do that. Couldn't a guy just, throw that tube with 8 balls on it? I mean, you could fucking, on your skidoo, you could just rope that on or tape it onto a bar somewhere.
Now.
And then you'd only have something the size
so
of
small. Yeah.
size of that camera.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it's almost exactly the size of the camera. It's 4.5 inches by 2 inches by 1 inch.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm thinking of getting some square aluminum tubing, cutting that off, getting some foam that I put inside, drill 1 hole for the light foam. I see it on the MasterCard at 1 inch thick,
Yeah.
in all different sizes, number 2 is one of them. Light foam, it's quite cheap, and put that inside. Drill out a hole where the little test tube that you got there goes right down in there. Drill out a hole where the needle thing goes,
Yeah.
and drill out a hole for whatever the smallest clippers are I can find.
Okay. Okay.
And then you get end caps on that, and that's your case. So it's only that big. I mean, fucking go in your pocket, go anywhere.
Throw something out there. I know you haven't pursued the glycerin one, but if that did work as well, could you have glycerin possibly like in a small stick mold, like say something like this? Then you could possibly have
it's
it
a
there.
liquid, isn't it?
Yeah, but could you make it like a solid? I wonder.
Well, when I saw the videos I was talking about, where these European different guys were mixing up potassium permanganate and glycerin, it was a liquid. They had it in a dropper. So I'm thinking it's the same as glycol.
Same thing, yeah. I was just wondering, like, to me, the pain in the arse of the
I bet you
balls
glycol.
is this, right? If you could have something you could poke in there.
Oh. Well, I mean,
You can't poke glycol in, I know that, but
yeah.
you have.
I don't know, this thing here, first of all, and by the way, what I'm doing is I'm taking this right here, and I'm cutting that off to like 3/8.
Yes.
Because, matter of fact, I found this problem with these big long needles. Sometimes you stuff it right into the potassium permanganate, and you get sparkling around the end, blocking up the needle.
Yeah.
So you only want that short. So
Just
3/8.
enough to go through the ball. Right?
Yeah. So, and I'm gonna clip that off right there.
Yeah.
Put a little bit of epoxy
Yeah.
in that. So now I got a little bit of epoxy in the end of it.
Yeah.
Right? And then jam that whole thing down.
I'll push it down through.
Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't look
So
like
now it's going to be like that.
Okay.
Only, well, I'm mostly doing it for the length.
Yeah.
Because this fucker right now is you have to make your whole case that big.
Okay.
Where it's only
Yeah.
4 inches if you can get it down to
You
here.
might get smaller needles too.
Well, I think that's the perfect size, 55.
No, the smaller carriers. 5.
Oh, maybe,
Or
but
0.5.
see if you got that tube that is that deep,
Yeah.
you need something long enough to get through the bottom of it.
Ah,
when it
true.
gets long.
Yeah.
So this is just about perfect.
Yeah.
Once I do this little long.
I'm sorry, I'm froze.
Go for it. Oh, that's got to be a good 10 minutes.
Nope, we have another. If you put it in, it's going to.
Once I hit that, I think experiment anymore. It might go right down to 1 for more.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are experiments. Once I hit that, it was fucking going every time.
Well, another thing to do too is say if you can go down first 1, say 1 to 3. Right?
Yeah.
Not so people are too well enough with the exact amount. Okay, then this one. Yeah, we got your thing is 1 to 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I was wondering if the color of the rest of the room or limit travel on it or yeah. fire anyway.
We could have that.
Close that water,
That
there
kind
you
of
go.
stuff in our video. Right?
Yeah.
But that's what I was doing that day on the storm. At the end of that storm, you know how fluffy that snow was, right? I was just flicking them up in the backyard and they disappeared from view down into the cellar. And I looked trying to keep the camera, I don't even know where it is. And finally you see some smoke, and then next thing you know, bang, she's like that. In the snow. Oh, there's the snow. I didn't know if it's doing now. That sort of heavy snow. I really liked the idea when I started, but with the big hole and a whole lot of stuff, I was getting really bored with it. Only half, not even half of the bird. Yeah. Wasn't I out here when?
Yeah, we're having trouble. I remember we're having trouble. You almost want to take the camera up now so you can see that it's down in the hole. Well, you're now only seeing a little bit. That's towards the end of its cycle anyways, but that's still got to be 10 minutes.
Okay, pick up the old camera here. So, well, it's saying on the camera 17 minutes.
17 minutes, yeah.
So we might have been maybe 30 seconds or something before. And I don't know if you can see that, but we're getting to the end of the plastic. Pretty well totally consumed in that stuff. It's just down to a bit of ash there.
So you
Really now.
You can confidently say 15 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. We'll end this one. That's gonna I'll probably keep going for another minute or two or something, but you can see that it's right down to the last bits of its fuel there.
Yeah.
So
If your fire's not going by now, well, we have our troubles.
right.